So, we just entered the Gaza Strip, and we have with us a convoy. There are a few dozens of Hamas terrorists on the Israeli-controlled side still hiding in underground tunnels. So today, I'm on the edge of Sajaya. This is the place where Hamas once launched rockets, dug terror tunnels, and hid behind families. The ceasefire changed the tempo of this war, but it didn't change Hamas. It didn't change their playbook. As the world talks about reconstruction, Hamas is already trying to stretch and gain time, rebuild control, and turn stalling into a strategy. We're here with the IDF units who are taking this playbook apart methodically, street by street, tunnel by tunnel, as you can see behind me. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is My State, a program about current events, my belief in God, and my journey in the Holy Land. Today, we're in Sajaya, in the heart of the Gaza Strip, together with the IDF, that are making sure that this ceasefire doesn't collapse.
Good morning. Got a call yesterday late at night, and the IDF spokesperson's unit invited me into the Gaza Strip. Today, I had to change all my plans and pack my bag and head towards the Gaza border to check out the situation underground and, most importantly, how the IDF is dealing with 60% of Hamas's terror tunnels still operational in Gaza. This brings back memories from the time I served here in Gaza. I remember driving here and hearing all the explosions right here, and I thought that I had a flat tire because of all the pops from the artillery of the IDF and the rockets and explosive devices of Hamas, not far from here.
So we just arrived here to the Gaza border, the entrance to the northern parts of the Gaza Strip, area called the Bet Hanun. So it is still an active war zone, and Hamas is testing the IDF at every step of the way. The yellow line is further inside Gaza, and we're gonna go inside it. So stay tuned, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Make sure you stay in the car you're in.
So we just have a debriefing with the general of this area before entering the Gaza Strip. He mentioned that there are between hundreds and thousands Palestinians, civilians inside the areas under the IDF's control, and maybe 100 or a few dozens of Hamas terrorists hiding in tunnels in the Israeli side. And this is what the IDF is dealing with. So we've just entered the Gaza Strip on our way to the Sajaya neighborhood, not far from Gaza City. So I'm standing here, and behind me you can see what used to be the Palestinian Gaza neighborhood of Sajaya. The general showed us just a few minutes ago before entering here that underneath this city were dozens of terror tunnels that went from houses, neighborhoods, and rooms under these buildings and went all the way towards the Israeli side. Sadly, the amount of tunnels that were located here were so big that all of these houses had to be destroyed, also to create a buffer zone that Hamas terrorists cannot launch rockets, cannot use these houses as sniper positions to threaten our troops, our civilians. In the horizon there, it's already under Hamas control and not under the IDF's control. So here's the how. IDF forces rotated fresh brigades into the northern sector and pushed back into this area to lock the gains of the past months. And under Division 99 and the framework before handing the sector to follow-on forces, hundreds of Hamas fighters and commanders in the Sajaya area were eliminated. Weapons depots and observation posts were also destroyed, and underground routes were mapped and neutralized. Combat engineers are still surfacing and finding hidden shafts on the edges of the city. Any tunnel segment that crosses the new yellow line, the security seam line now controls, is being sealed or also collapsed. Beit Hanun matters. because it sits on the launch corridors that Hamas used for years into Israel's farming belt. What you don't see on the map is the lattice under the feet. Cut rooms, cable galleries, blast doors. Some routes here connected east and west across the Gaza Strip. Others fed fighters north towards the fence. And the IDF is not walking away from all of that. They are destroying and demolishing all the terror tunnels in these locations. Now, about the ceasefire and the game that Hamas is playing. On paper, we have quiet, but in practice, Hamas is trying to buy time and reestablish control mechanisms, stalling with the fallen. The Israeli sources on the ground described a deliberate, slow roll in returning the bodies of the murdered hostages. This is completed with staged discoveries of cameras, often alongside international teams, and the goal is pressure and optics, not compassion. That's why Jerusalem is weighing responses. Expand the Yellow Line security area or tighten aid flows into the Gaza Strip if the stalling continues. Backfiling authority. Around 8 hubs, Hamas operatives try to insert themselves into lists and into distributions. This is how they rebuilt the influence in the past. Control the bread, control the people. Let's talk about psychological warfare. Small teams attempt pop-up attacks from tunnel mouths to create casualties and headlines. Then, duck back underground into these tunnels. Not to defeat the enemy, but to drain the Israeli will and to cause casualties amongst our troops. All this is classic Hamas. Hold a stronghold, stretch the clock, regain the street, and present the world with a fake account of what's happening. The difference this time is Israel's methodical denial of underground freedom of movement, and the new security geometry in the Gaza Strip is different, especially in the north. If this underground content helps you cut through all the noise, make sure to share this video with friends and to subscribe to TBN Israel on YouTube so that you never miss another report of Boots on the Ground. As 2025 comes to a close, Israel's people still need you more than ever. Nearly 2 years after the war broke out, families are still displaced, soldiers are still defending the homeland, and millions are struggling to make ends meet. Meir Panim is standing in the gap, feeding the hungry, supporting the Holocaust survivors, caring for teens at risk, and lifting up the brave men and women of the IDF. This year alone, they have served more than 2.6 million meals, supported over 100,000 IDF soldiers, delivered 500,000 care packages, and helped thousands of families rebuild their lives from the bottom up. But the need is still great. 100,000 displaced families, 2.6 million living in poverty, more than 1 million children going to bed hungry each night. This is your moment to make a difference. Every dollar provides hope, dignity, and real help to those who need it most. So visit blessisrael.org and give generously today. Together, we can bless Israel's people in their hour of need. Again, visit bless-israel.org and give generously today. So I'm here with Nadav Shoshani, the IDF International spokesperson. Where are we standing right now?
Well, we're right now on the outskirts of Gaza City. You can see the buildings of Gaza City, where there's hundreds of thousands of people, and sadly also thousands of Hamas terrorists. And we are standing in the post that is the only defense line between those terrorists and our civilians. And we're protecting this area. When you hear about the Yellow Line, we're standing right above it, defending lines, making sure Hamas doesn't violate. And just last week, Hamas terrorists tried crossing in this area. We've shared the video. Hamas armed terrorists crossed this area planning to carry out a terror attack in a different area in southern Gaza. They carried out a terror attack, killing 2 soldiers. We understand who we're dealing with. It's a terror organization that will try and violate if they get the chance, and we need to be very vigilant and prevent that from happening.
So are there still terror tunnels on the Israeli-controlled side of the Yellow Line?
In this area, we have a pretty good understanding and pretty good hold of of the ground, understanding we've dealt with most of the tunnels. But it's an ongoing process. Hundreds of kilometers underground, one of the world's vastest tunnel network.
Yeah.
And we have to be very careful, very vigilant, and to keep checking all the time to make sure there's no tunnel where our terrorists can just cross us and reach our civilians.
We heard reports of Hamas sending children close to the Israeli positions. Is that true?
Well, we've seen that in the past. We understand Hamas is doing that, has done that. In the last ceasefire, there was a story where Hamas sent a 4-year-old to our troops to kind of reconnaissance and understand what they're doing and how they're doing it.
A 4-year-old.
A 4-year-old.
How can a 4-year-old do reconnaissance? What can you tell them?
You can tell them if the troops are ready or not, where they're sitting, where they're standing. He admitted that his father was Hamas and he was sent to spy on us. Our troops obviously gave him water and a snack and sent him back with the Red Cross. But we know who we're dealing with. This is a terror organization that takes advantage of civilians, of their civilians. Right now, they're in a massive campaign to terrorize the people of Gaza, to murder Gazans that they think are not pro-Hamas. And we know who we're dealing with. So we're very careful, but we also have our values.
Yeah.
We will never target children or civilians in any way or form. But also we need to be vigilant and careful, understand who we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. Hopefully in the future there will be an international mechanism to deal with those threats, but our job is to remove immediate threats to our civilians and to our troops.
Well, thank you. Make sure you keep safe, Nadav. Now, let's talk achievements and not slogans. The IDF is destroying the command chain capabilities of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. 2 Hamas company-level commanders tied to dozens of attacks in this area, not far from here, were taken off the battlefield. That matters. It fractures the local control and the logistics of this terrorist organization. Tunnel warfare, industrial-scale combat engineers and Yahalom teams continue to identify and to collapse long underground corridors. Some are buried 20 to 40 meters beneath the ground, some stretching kilometers. These weren't escape holes. They were command rooms, comms, nodes, ammo lines, and transit arteries for fighters beneath the civilian blocks. Every collapse segment shortens Hamas's reach tomorrow. The army moved from massed maneuver to a layered presence. Patrols, sensors, quick strike units, and the yellow line steam is being controlled by our forces from strategic locations, just like the one we've been to now with the IDF. It's quieter above ground because it's tighter below the ground. Let's talk about the humanitarian situation. Aid routes are open in the north, but they're secured. Hamas can posture near them, but it doesn't own these routes. Another new element is the American verification from the sky. United States drones are watching the ceasefire corridors and the tunnel zones, and there's an American coordination hub inside Israel. Why does that matter? Because Washington wants independent eyes. If Hamas breaks the terms or staged provocations, there's less space for diplomatic fog. That constrains Hamas, and it also keeps pressure on Israel to keep operations displaced and targeted. And yes, Turkey and Qatar continue to push for a political laundromat. Take Hamas, rebrand it, and slide it into civilian frameworks under reconstruction. That's the Hezbollah model for Lebanon. Survive as a militia, gain a suit, keep a gun. Israel's job now is to make sure that is impossible, that they cannot rebuild their underground control, and that there's no gun left to hide. From the IDF's outposts inside Sajaya, you can see on one side Hamas terrorists attempting to test the readiness of our forces, sending 4-year-old children to be spies for this group to tell the terrorists of Hamas the readiness of the IDF. They are sending terrorists to carry out attacks through tunnels and through other means. And when you look towards the Israeli side, you see farmers that are working hard to rebuild the land after 2 years of fires, of rockets and missiles, planning for the future. This is what I love about Israel. It's so easy and clear to see who are the good sides and who are the bad guys. We are thinking about the future. We are thinking about developing the land, rebuilding it after destruction, not creating more tunnels, more suffering for our people. After the ceasefire took effect, Hamas did one thing. It was crack down against its own people, against the Palestinian people. After the ceasefire, the people of Israel celebrated together with the hostages that were returned. The farmers are rebuilding the lands. Investments are pouring back into the country to the phase of beginning to rebuild the economy. This is what Israel is doing compared to what Hamas is doing on the other side. There is clear borders between good and evil. So we need to remember that all of this matters to you, because if Israel allows a new Hamas to rebrand, re-embed, re-repeat what's happening in Lebanon, if that happens, then we are at a whole new different war once more. And that's why quiet headlines are deceptive. The decisive war is happening now in places like Sajaya and just across the yellow line that the IDF is located in. So if you like what we're doing here and you want to support the truth of what's happening underground, make sure to like, share, subscribe, never miss another episode of Boots on the Ground. I want to hear what you want us to report on. Is there any questions that you need us to answer for you? But above all, this is a spiritual war, and we need your help in praying. So let's pray for the IDF soldiers that we met. I spoke to a few of them. One of them plays basketball and injured his leg, just like I did. Others have families, wives, children that they miss, but they know the job is important, so they are here to defend the country of Israel. So let's pray for them, these soldiers that are guarding inside Gaza, defending us and building a future for us and for the Palestinian people. Let's pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.